It looked on my end like the video didn't play. Everything went weird, but it seems like it's fine. Okay.
It played.
The podcast is back. Depending on how the week of after Christmas goes, and this might be the last one of the year, so we're going to have ourselves a good time and talk about some stuff. Alrighty. Let's go into everybody's weeks here. Mike, how was your week?
My week's been pretty good. I've had the week off from work, so that's been nice. Been catching up on movies and shows and all of that. This week I saw The Return with Ralph Fiennes, and then Werewolves, Frank Grillo versus Werewolves. It's exactly what it says on the tin. And then I've got Sonic 3 tomorrow, and then I am going to see Mufasa on Friday just because...
Oh, God.
Just because curiosity, although I'm not...
Are you saying you haven't lived and learned? For anyone who was born past 2000, that joke went over your head.
I don't even really follow Sonic, and I knew that. I'm like, yo.
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh yeah, so leading up to this week, I was rewatching the first two Sonic movies. I still enjoy the first one, just enough, but Sonic 2 honestly gets better every time I see it, especially once they actually get to the Master Emerald and all of that. That's what just becomes Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If anything with the emeralds, the only thing that always pops into my head every single time is the Chaos Emeralds. Obama chuckled.
Good God. Bree, how was your week, Ben?
It hasn't been a week. I don't know. I'm like, am I a person anymore? But on a serious note, everything's, all things considered, holiday craziness pretty good. Writing class is going good. Got myself some new audio toys to make my recordings sound a little less booty, but it's, it's whatever.
Gotcha. Kiona.
Other than me being really tired, so I don't really have an on-camera face today. I'll just say that the week's been okay. Not bad. Been grinding out some zombies over the past couple of days, trying to get the event done, but I don't think I'm going to get there. Hopefully, maybe tonight.
I'll get there. See how it goes.
COD zombies, Black Ops 6 zombies.
Oh, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I finished platinuming Astro's Playroom, which I realized I only had a little bit left for that, so that's one thing I did this week.
Oh, geez. Nice.
Yeah, that was forever ago. I realized I was just looking through stuff after the Game Awards got done, and I was looking at Astros. I was like, do I have anything left on that? And I was like, oh, I forgot a puzzle piece in this part, so I just did that and got another platinum. Working, chilling out, getting some last minute Christmas shopping done. Other than that, streamed the Game Awards, which is pretty fun. That was a good time.
That was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot whatsoever. But
It's been getting some views, I've seen. I saw.
It has. I had to send that thing in. There actually is good watch time on that. What's funny for people,
Nice.
I sent a picture in to our chat that I put two videos up on my YouTube channel right next to each
Yeah.
other. One was the Game Awards, which is a video that is 4 hours long. And
Yes.
the other one is a review for Kraven the Hunter. One had 77 views at the time and one had 0. I'll let you guess which one was which.
Lucky number 7's for Craven. I'm kidding. That's a joke.
No. Lucky
No,
literal
seriously,
nothings for
guys.
Kraven.
guys, go watch the review of Craven. Come on now.
That blows my. I was like,
I'm sure there's dozens of you.
Yes,
yeah.
There's at least 3 of you out there that can watch.
There's at least 3 of you out there. There was a scene in there that was cool that was worth talking about, and it's Aaron Taylor Johnson, so it was all right.
Do it for Aaron Taylor Johnson's abs. Do it for his abs.
Yeah,
if nothing else,
they are there, and they are apparent.
Yes, yes. Do it for his abs.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Let's get into some buying or selling here. All right, Kiona, since I think you're the only one that might even remotely know about this one's going to you. Buy or sell that Netflix is in talks to make an adaptation of Stalker, the video game series.
Well, so what I've heard of the new Stalker has not been great, but I don't know. I think as a TV show, as a TV series, I could see it working. Yeah. So I would say cautious buy on that.
That is
it's interesting to see Netflix sort of, expand into that arena now that Amazon sort of has it locked up.
That's one of the weird things
Arcane.
About video game adaptations so the game could have been very bad because they made the gameplay bad, but the game idea itself could be good and work well for a TV show. But
that's what I've heard.
Well, no, I'm just talking how this weird dichotomy we're going to get to in general, where the game could be a very good idea for a TV show, but did the game do good enough to make people want to watch a TV show about it?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, well, what I mean by what I heard is that like the gameplay of the game is supposedly like it's very fetch questy and it's very like you go to one person and you're trying to find like take me to your leader, that sort of thing, and it's like it's kind of I guess dull is the word, but like I don't want to that development team. I'm sure like it may be just needed more time to cook, I don't know, but it's one of those games where I haven't really tried it just because the release it sort of came and went, and people have been saying like it's not so great to me. So but yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in seeing it as a TV show. I think that they could maybe do something with it.
All right. What in the... Okay, so Mike, buy or sell the very first Superman poster?
I buy it quite a bit. I'm a little bit disappointed that we won't be talking about the trailer because it doesn't...
We could talk about the teaser of the trailer.
We could, but I would rather talk about something with actual substance.
That is a practice that needs to die. We're going to announce the trailer. But you get to watch 2 seconds of it the day before because God knows that does anything for your anticipation.
Honestly, I'm kind of with Mike. Like, that just needs to stop.
But Bree, buy or sell the Superman poster?
I mean, I saw it. I mean, it's a nice poster. Like, funnily enough, this past weekend, I went around watching the Christopher Reeves documentary, which if you haven't watched it, like, absolutely watch it.
Yes.
It is very, like, it's very emotionally intense, but it does have sort of a bittersweet ending. So, I mean, they do dabble in Superman in it. I mean, it's not like Superman focused in like the way that you would think that it is, but it's a very respectful, well-made documentary. I highly recommend that. Now, in terms of the poster, I do think it invokes that classic Superman vibe, which I definitely feel like that was always the intent, and I think the idea that it was just going to be like this overly goofy thing, I don't know why people thought that. I guess just because James Gunn was attached, even though he's done tons of things that aren't, like that. But again, we have to wait to see the trailer, but I am cautiously optimistic.
Kiona?
I buy it. I think it looks good, and I think like Bree said and like Mike said, it's very evocative of
Umbreon, yes, he has. This hate boner needs to get checked out, dude.
It's evocative
we've talked about this before in private.
It's evocative of the classical Superman, so I'm all for it, and I think the fact that it has a tagline is something that's very cool. It's kind of missing.
It kind of blows my mind that it took this long for that to be a tagline.
Yeah, seriously.
Right?
It's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, this is pretty much what I want out of Superman. This is how he should be.
Yes, absolutely. I did love someone put on Twitter that they're supposedly in the teaser. I haven't watched it. I guess there's a shot of the back of Superman flying, and then some fucking Snyder head commented, "Snyder would never make a terrible shot like this." Quickly quote tweeted by the exact shot of Henry Cavill doing that exact same flying scene in Man of Steel.
God.
My patience with the Snyder fandom has waned significantly, and I am still very much a fan of his work. But guys, come on.
Yeah, honestly, like that whole ordeal is one of the many, many reasons I don't really fuck with Twitter anymore. Like, just to be honest, like I cannot deal. My life is so finite. I have so many better things to do with it.
There's always going to be different interpretations of everything as time passes, and so
I mean that's what mythology is.
Just move on, you know.
I mean,
you can't do that though,
right? I mean, other than like indigenous mythology, I mean stuff like Superman, even like the Wizard of Oz, like that's like our American mythos, and like every other like thing in mythology, you're gonna have different interpretations, and it just people like need to stop going, oh no, they can only be just one way. I'm like, dude, grow up, like get the fuck out of here, like seriously, stop.
Yeah, or don't move on and just stick with the Snyderverse and go back and watch those movies, and you know,
and you can watch them on a loop. You know, exactly. Make fan fiction. Sit in a dark room, all alone, hoping that Justice League 2 will happen someday.
You never know. Maybe it will. Maybe someday. Maybe someday Zack Snyder will return to it. Maybe.
Yeah. Yes, even though
stranger things have happened.
Even though he and himself and everyone involved has said it will never happen, they keep on wanting it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta have hope, Brock.
You
don't.
The dream alive.
No, you don't. No,
keep
you
the
don't.
dream alive.
No. That dream can die.
Keep hope
alive.
All right.
It was never a dream in the first place. It was a waking nightmare, and they just didn't know how to process it. All right.
It was a society that we lived in.
No, that wasn't a society. That was a insane asylum. Kiona, buy or sell that a Clayface movie is being pushed forward at DC?
I have some complicated feelings on this, just because I think Clayface as a character you could do something with. I don't know that I would have him as a headliner of his own film, but I mean, I'm interested. So I'll say like
Mike Flanagan is writing the script, if that helps.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm interested in seeing like a horror sort of take on it, maybe. Which, you know, there are 2 Clayfaces in the comics, 2 canon Clayfaces. Yep. So so you could actually do one that's more in the superhero arena, and you could do one that's kind of a horror sort of film or tragic.
I honestly don't think they would do it unless it was in the horror film tragic.
Yeah. I mean, but you could still have him as a villain in the Batman, you know, movies or what have you. I guess if you want to, but yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I'll say small kind buy. Yeah,
Mike.
I'm going to half buy it only because there's no director attached yet. But the fact that Mike Flanagan is writing it is a good sign.
Yeah.
I kind of almost feel like, why aren't we doing this as a TV series, especially after the success of The Penguin? That
would be interesting. I mean, sure.
Well, here's like my reasoning. I kind of feel like Clayface, you know, as like just a 2.5 hour movie or whatever, you're kind of asking for a lot
Mhm.
in that it's a lot of story, but also like not a lot of story. That
Because
I feel
you can
like
make it. God,
no, you're good.
because you can do a better version of the Joker with Clayface.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah.
maybe.
I mean,
That's what I'm seeing.
you're already kind of doing a better version of Joker with the Penguin.
Yeah, so I think maybe they had that something that would work better in the constraint of a movie versus a TV show, and I think that's probably what happened. I would imagine, anyway.
There was a Detective Comics run in the 2010s, I want to say, maybe the mid or late 2000s to 2010s, where Clayface was a part of Batman's team.
Mm-hmm.
So he has been a heroic character in the past, oddly enough.
He has,
but
we've even had the Riddler being an informant. They've
yeah,
had some stuff happen.
yeah. So I mean, it's, you know, I don't know where they could possibly go with it. I don't know who would be the villain in that.
Society.
God damn it.
Society.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey man, it's gonna. You know who the villain in this movie's gonna be? Warner Brothers.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
It's gonna be a film studio called the Farner Sisters.
Yeah.
But
Probably.
all right, Mike, buy or sell that the live-action Warhammer 40K TV series is officially moving forward at Prime Video with Henry Cavill executive producing it.
I mean, he is like the Warhammer fan, so of course I buy this.
Yes. Bree?
I mean, Amazon's on a roll, and Cavill, like, post Snyderverse, seems to be picking out really good projects, so I don't see a reason not to trust him at this point.
Yes. Kiona?
I buy it. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
I'm not super familiar with the universe, so
They copied StarCraft as fuck.
yeah, essentially. I mean, yeah, I'm familiar.
Everyone, I'm
in
joking.
passing
I know.
familiar, but yes.
I have to put that in there every time. Everyone,
It's
we'll get into that
derivative.
later. Yes, we'll get into there later on. But Blizzard is known for letting someone make something first and then making a better version of it later on. But anyway, all right. Kiona, buy or sell that Jim Carrey says he's not definite about his retirement after Sonic 3 and his exact quote is, because as soon as a good idea comes to you or a group of people you really enjoy working with, things tend to change.
I'm not surprised by that statement. So yeah, I would say I buy that. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he'll be like halfway there, but then maybe a script will float by him and he'll be like, yeah, let's do it.
This was his retirement until he came back he was retired until he came back for 3. So
yeah, so I don't.
He
think
also said
really
in an interview that I bought a lot of stuff and I need the money.
I'm sure he does.
Mike,
I mean, something that I've said in the past is creative people don't retire from being creative.
Yeah.
And even though acting isn't necessarily the same thing as writing or directing, it's all part of the creative arts. So yeah, I buy that he has walked back his retirement comments.
Yeah. Bree.
I mean, I do think he wasn't lying. Like, I felt like at the time of Sonic 2, he was being genuine. I mean, he hadn't really, prior to that, had like any super big hits in like a minute, and he had kind of, at least in the early 2000s, had a lot more like smaller projects. And I get that, probably he's like, I'm kind of burnt out and everything. But now seeing, like a whole new audience, because I feel like people tend to forget that even though most Sonic fans are probably in like their 30s or 40s, like Sonic still has a very large, kid audience. Like, so that's a whole new, generation that's kind of like opened up to him. So I'm not surprised that maybe he's like having second thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of second thoughts, Mike, buy or sell that Jim Carrey says he's interested in returning as the Grinch in a sequel, but using motion capture instead of makeup. I did a ton of makeup and can hardly breathe. It was extremely excruciating. It took 6 hours to put him in it initially, and he said it was akin to being buried alive. You needed to get a CIA torture consultant in order to make it through putting the makeup on.
Yeah, so the main reason I buy this is because look how far motion capture, performance capture has come since even as far like back as like 2011 when Rise of the Planet of the Apes came out, or like 2002 when we had the two towers.
Absolutely. And like you get to the point of where Ryan Reynolds, when he's Deadpool, only has his face done. And when he's in the suit, when he has the Santa suit or whatever on, you can't tell me they can't put the makeup on his face and then just have his hands.
Yeah.
It's the need to have all that on. Kiona?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'd cautiously buy that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Bree?
I mean, I still like theatrical makeup, but I also imagine that probably being in, I would assume it's probably like yak hair or something for like 12 plus hours.
Yes. You said it was yak hair.
And like fluorescent green paint probably is not good, and having something more breathable. I mean, really just do like the facial prosthetics and like everything else. Like,
yeah,
it's not necessary. I mean, good for anyone who's like game enough to do it, but also, you know, the original Grinch, well, not the original, the Jim Carrey one came out 24 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Jim Carrey's a lot older, so
Yes.
I get him not wanting to do that because that is just stressful in like so many different ways.
And that is one of those movies that has stuck with me a lot, and I'm never gonna forget. That's also one of those movies that had something in it that I didn't realize until I was a lot older. The Swingers Party. Didn't catch that when I was a kid.
Oh.
I didn't catch that whatsoever. Someone was like, the keys in the bowl. I'm like, what do you mean the keys in the bowl? And all of a sudden I learned what that meant, and I watched the like, oh, okay. Got it. All right. Okay. Last buy or sell. Mike, buy or sell that Austin Butler has been cast as Patrick Bateman in the long-awaited and much-needed American Psycho remake.
This is a tentative buy only because it's Luca Guadagnino directing, so it's going to be at least interesting, and also this is probably one of the hardest roles to recast, but I think Austin Butler has what it takes to pick up where Christian Bale left off.
Yeah. As long as they redo the Huey in the News.
Oh my god.
That is one of my favorite things on the planet.
You know, some might find their songs and material a little too esoteric for modern tastes.
Christian Bale was in his fucking bag in that movie.
That was amazing, honestly.
And just like the little bit where they're comparing the business cards and the shit in the boardroom.
That's bone.
God.
And the lettering is cerulean or something.
My favorite one is when they parodied that scene to fucking death, and they're like talking about Pokemon cards and business cards. Oh, Kiona by herself.
Can see that. I agree with Mike. That's a very tentative buy. I don't know that we can surpass the original. But you know, I love the satirical edge to it, and I just thought that movie in its own way is kind of brilliant. So yeah, we'll see how this turns out. Like,
are we gonna
like interesting director? So
Are we gonna get another scene of oh shoot, oh crap, I can't think of his name. The what's his name? The main character, American Psycho. I'm blanking.
Patrick Bateman.
Patrick. Are we gonna get another scene of Patrick Bateman having sex with a woman and flexing to himself in the mirror?
I forget that meme a couple years ago with the clown like dubstep. That was set from scenes of that, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Buy yourself, Bree.
I mean, sure, okay, why not? Because now all I'm thinking about is the stupid, like, clap, those horn honks.
Oh no!
Good Lord.
There is an idea of an Austin Butler.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. Now we're on to the gaming news here.
All right.
One of my favorite things. I miss Kamiya so damn much. All right. So one major thing that was announced during the Game Awards was that Okami is coming back and that Kamiya has reopened his own studio. It is separate from Capcom, but he's working with Capcom called Clovers. For those that don't know, yes, legally distinct. Legally distinct. So for those that don't know, Clover Games was a conglomerate of people that like to make these awesome character action games that didn't sell worth a shit. And then that group of people went on to make Platinum and then made a bunch of other really awesome games that didn't sell worth a shit. But yeah, they all played great and were awesome. It's just that they were so specific that it was hard to make an audience for them. to quote Patrick Boyman from Two Best Friends, he's like, screw you, I'm gonna go make my own studio and make a bunch of action games that also don't sell worth the fuck. But anyway, so someone posted on Twitter asking Kamiya if the Okami announcement trailer was made using AI, and Kamiya responded and said, "Don't ask me such pointless questions, you idiot. Go away."
Thank goodness.
I need that like GIF or like just I need to save that response for any dumb questions I see online.
Go away, you idiot. And you know what the irony is that that wasn't the AI game trailer of the night.
No, it wasn't. No,
Infinity Kitty or whatever the hell that was.
Oh, did you see the thing today where they claimed, we didn't use like AI? And it's like, sure, Jan, sure.
Yeah, sure. Jan. Some more
Something
stuff
about it was weird.
Some things, yeah. Some things about it were weird.
Some things. Yeah.
All right. So some furthering details about Clovers. Legally distinct. Most of Kamiya's new Clovers studio staff followed him from Platinum Games. The cinematic director on Okami, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, and Astral Chain.
Nice.
The Metal Gear Rising lead animator. If anyone's played that game, that's a big fucking deal. And also the Bayonetta series animator. So that is a big old resume of awesome people. So I'm quite fucking excited about that.
Yeah, same.
It's crazy. Right. Like Okami is like that one game that was probably never gonna get a sequel. Yet here we are.
Yeah, we're gonna get into more stuff about that here because that's a statement that Capcom has said recently. So, all right, we talked about something a while back, and last week when we were talking about Arcane, I made the analogy that getting into League of Legends after watching Arcane is like getting into crystal meth after watching Breaking Bad.
Yep.
So now, and to make sure people don't think that I'm joking about this, I have to show this. Here we go. Come on, baby. New update to Riot Games' terms of services gives League of Legends devs the right to respond to players' off-platform conduct with penalties in-game.
Okay.
Good, those fuckers deserve it.
Okay, so I gotta read through this because I saw this in my head about Spun. I'm like, there's gonna be no League players left. Like another day, another step closer to the blanket internet authoritarianism. At the time of the League of Legends developer Riot Games has updated their terms of service to allow them to issue in-game penalties to players who engage in harmful off-platform behavior while using any of the company's video game services. As detailed in a November 26 blog post published by the developer's official webpage, this change, one of our 4, recently made it so the user agreement and service involving games and the consent of the ecosystem to make the best possible experience for our players and creators, clarifies that off-platform conduct and behavior connected to our IP is now subject to the terms of service. Our intention with this update is to help protect players from harmful behaviors they can experience across various places that touch our gaming experience. This update applies specifically and only to the content where Riot's games are the background of the content produced. Though we aren't going to proactively monitor everything that happens across social media, it is now within our rights to issue penalties to in-game when the content is being brought to our attention. As example, if a creator uses hateful slurs about an opposing player or teammate on their stream, but not in the game over voice chat or comms, we can still issue a penalty as if that behavior occurred in-game. TLDR, if you say or do bad things that break our term of service while broadcasting or creating content about our game, we can restrict access to your Riot Games account and suspend your partner privileges if you are a part of our partner program.
Wow.
I honestly, look, Riot Games is not a good company.
No.
But
water is indeed still wet.
I mean, honestly, this is probably, like, to me, it's good. I mean, will it destroy League of Legends? Probably, because, I mean, that's basically the whole, like, 95% of, like, League's player bases are a bunch of fucking toxic trolls, which is why League players rightfully get made fun of.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That was one thing. So, a little bit behind the curtain here. My sister is dating a new guy, and I don't know much about him, other than I know that he recently had his wife pass away a bit ago, lost her to cancer, stuff like that, and he supposedly was very involved in schools and helping there because his wife is a teacher, so he seemed like a super nice guy. And then my sister was asking me what I wanted for Christmas, and I'm like, you know, if you want to be an awesome person, you can get me the Blu-ray of Arcane. That would be pretty great. So then all of a sudden, my sister sends me a message, and she's like, hey, Simon wants to know who you main in League. I'm like, oh God, he's a League player.
Oh no, what
And then she goes, yeah, you said he used to do it when he's bored, but now he just plays survival RPGs. I'm like, whew!
Yeah, that would have been a total deal breaker otherwise.
I'm like, my mom was like, hey, at least he's not a drug dealer. I'm like, yeah, but he played League of Legends for a while.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, but no, I just had to laugh when I saw that. I was like, because apparently he saw the Blu-ray, which I'm assuming that's what she's getting me, and then he saw it. And he was like, oh, must play League of Legends.
Right. Hey! Before we move on, I am going to try to send an image. I'm going to send in the messenger thing because I'm stupid and I don't know how this StreamYard works.
Okay.
I cut out the title, but it's very apropos to basically what League's player base, how they will react to this. And I have to share it because it is just too magical. By the way, this is a real chat log.
Oh,
and
God.
The funny thing about this person who did this, they actually got main character on Twitter like not too long ago. So at least I felt vindicated. Me and my friends felt vindicated after having to deal with this nut like a decade ago or whatever. Just, why will this not post in here? I hate this fucking chat.
Okay.
Anyway, you know what? Let me just screen share it. It's going to be a little bit easier. Okay, so we're just going to do this. Okay. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be so worth it, guys, and you're going to be so glad that I did this.
I'm waiting in bated breath here.
All right. Okay, figure out which one. All right, there we go.
What are you sending it to? Okay.
Oh,
She's not following the rules. She's trolling me, and that's one of the biggest crimes of the year. Good God. Jesus. Yes, because we're not allowed to do that anymore. People don't like it if they're made to look like a moron.
Oh, you want to hear better? His plot twist. Again, I'm not specifically pointing this guy out because he sucks. But do you remember that guy who got ratioed with like 1,000 tweets saying, "Name one woke video game that was successful"? It's this dude.
Is that Grumps?
No, it's not Grumps. No.
Okay.
No, he has like 200 followers, and he just got like fucking like ratio to the moon.
Okay. Gotcha. All
right.
right. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Rumor from a bunch of Xbox insiders. For people that are listening to this, I'm using heavy quotation marks. Xbox will no longer have any permanent exclusives. The main reason Xbox hasn't outwardly said this, they are fully platform, is because they don't want to mandate it for the teams that are not properly set up for it yet. All Xbox games will come to the PlayStation over time. They may be timed exclusives or outright, but in the near upcoming future, there will not be actual exclusives unless they are something special.
Oh, God damn it, Umbreon.
So much a math teacher just came. Umbreon, you need to see therapy, my guy. So yeah. I'm gonna believe this once I see a Halo game on a PlayStation.
Yeah,
which they just switched to Unreal, which would make that a lot easier.
It would make it easier.
Also, they kind of gave the game away because they had multiple commercials during the Game Awards saying, "This is an Xbox, this is an Xbox." So, I mean, that's basically, everything that we were talking about the last few months and like theorizing has pretty much come to pass. And that Xbox is slowly going to transition to a studio rather than like a hardware platform.
Which, what they should do. It's owned by a company, Microsoft, which has always been better at software than hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
made their entire living on it.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it seems to be where the direction, the direction that they're going in, it seems to be that. And if you have a good gaming PC, what the hell do you need an Xbox Series whatever for?
You don't.
What do you need it for? You honestly
that's
don't.
the thing. And they brag about how good Game Pass is on PC.
It is.
I mean, a current
PC.
I mean, a current Xbox is basically the equivalent of like having like a Mac Mini. Yeah, it can run pretty powerful and do stuff, but there's better options.
That's the thing, though. It can run good, but that's one of the weird things about the Xbox Series X. You dropped a Ferrari engine in it, but a lot of the times it can only get 6 of the cylinders kicking. Because they'll show the performance out of what this thing should be achieving, and it's not doing great. I don't get it. That thing should be insanely powerful, and yet most of the time it's got the lower end of the specs whenever they get Digital Foundry to look at anything. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
And a lot of the other reasons for what they have issues with also is that they have this equal, what was it? Parity on all platforms. They have to try and make that thing run as well on the Xbox Series X as well on the S, which is less powerful than last generation consoles.
Yeah, the series. I was just going to mention the Series S is less powerful than the Xbox One X was, and I had my Xbone X, and I was quite happy with it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just for waiting to come, and hey, at some point, I just think it'd be better if they called it Microsoft Game Pass, because at some point you don't have an Xbox anymore.
Oh,
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't make any sense to call it Xbox.
It would be more.
It's more of a marketing thing at this point.
Yeah, but the thing about the marketing, though, the marketing is to remind you that you don't have an Xbox because an Xbox doesn't exist. An Xbox is a term and not a console. It's the weirdest marketing, but bad marketing at the same time, because they're like, we're going to remind you to not buy an Xbox because you don't need one, and you're not playing these on an Xbox because we're also saying a toaster strudel is an Xbox.
I mean, this is the same company that's forcing like Copilot on Windows computers. So if you have a PC that's more than 3 years old, you're basically fucked. So
yeah, it's I don't know, but anyway, so
makes me sad.
So we're gonna move on to one of my favorite comments, which is I was gonna talk about.
I saw that earlier. I was waiting for you to bring this up.
People making dumb comments, and I talked about Blizzard making things after other people do. So Mike Ybarra comments that Black Widow is copying Widowmaker. Blizzard commenting on other people copying their games. Fucking hilarious. So Marvel Rivals has come out, and I made the comment that I think this thing might actually take Overwatch behind the woodshed and fucking kill it. And now everyone's like, but Overwatch is too big to... Their numbers are plummeted even more now, and Overwatch players are bragging and being pissy about how Rivals is just the better version of their own game.
I mean, it is, and it plays a lot better, and there's not the grossness attached to it.
There isn't, and this is something that that is a lesson to be learned for launching a live service thing. Launch a live service thing if you have an idea, which people who've played this game, every character's overpowered as fuck, and they balance it by letting every character be overpowered as fuck. They just don't go out of their way to heavily constrict you. Like, if you have Spider-Man swinging around, you have to deal with the fact that Spider-Man is swinging around. It's annoying because he would be annoying. And there's just stuff like that.
Yep.
And
Thor is very annoying.
Yeah, and it's...
Cap is super annoying because of that damn shield.
Yeah. The everything, the art style is amazing. They have great voice acting in it. It's third person, which I think adds a lot.
I think that
in
adds
these type of games.
A lot of character to it, yeah.
And just, they act like you're living in a world with stuff, and you can find out lore and stuff in it. And I wouldn't doubt at some point that they might do the thing that they were going to sell Overwatch 2 on, which was going to
PvE.
PvE, where you have an actual story, which was the whole thing they sold Overwatch 2 on, and they canceled it.
Yes.
And then now we're bringing it back to operate like Overwatch 1. But everyone who is too young to realize how Blizzard became what Blizzard was, Blizzard became a perfecter, not an inventor. They saw something and went, you have a really good idea. We can make a better version of that. And then they did that for every big series they ever had. And they became very good at it and became a giant company because of that. So someone trying to say that Black Widow is copying Widowmaker, which they're not ashamed of the fact that they just took versions of Overwatch characters and slapped a Marvel character on them, because why not? But saying that you created the first badass sniper with a grappling hook,
laughable.
The first super spy, really? But what I was saying with making games and the Concord lesson, people flocked to this initially because it was Marvel. Mm-hmm. That was the selling point that got them into playing it and realizing that it's an awesome game, and then that will retain them.
Yeah.
You need to have built-in player bases for stuff or an IP to bring them in if you're going to try and gamble on a live service at this point, because there's only so many hours in the day and there's only so many people on this earth that want to play live service games.
But here's the thing too, and a popular IP doesn't always mean a successful live service. I mean, Suicide Squad, I think they're doing their final season now.
Yes, but that wasn't based off of, and that the selling point wasn't a big IP. the selling point was Rocksteady, and it looked and everyone didn't like it once they realized what the game was. I'm saying for a live service, if this was called Superhero City, and you had Bowman and Shield Boy, you weren't gonna flock to it. But you see these anime-styled Marvel characters, you're going to. Like, it doesn't succeed it, but you're gonna have a better chance. And people didn't know Suicide Squad was live service until they saw the gameplay. They were being sold as that being a single-player game. They got the live service thrust on them afterwards.
Yeah.
And Overwatch is a live service kind of whatever, but everything is free except for skins, which is how it should be. And you can gain all the skins in there with regular in-game currency, which you get a lot of. And also they're doing something that, no, Umbreon, each character doesn't have 5,000 pockets. We're not quite Rob Liefeld. And also their feet are drawn perfectly. But, what was I getting at? Their season passes in, Marvel Rivals don't end. So you don't have to live with I have to spend my entire life of this week trying to get it, because you can take it as long as you want. They've openly said they'll never cancel a season. It just keeps going until you get it all. That is so rare in a game like this. And it came from NetEase, which people were scared was not going to make a game that was going to be gacha heavy and was going to steal your entire life away. But but no, I just had to mention the fact that Blizzard being mad about someone copying something is fucking hilarious. But all right. So speaking of Okami earlier, Capcom has made a statement that they are focused on reactivating dormant IPs. In addition to regularly releasing major new titles each year, Capcom is focused on reactivating dormant IPs that haven't been launched recently, except Dino Crisis. I added the last part.
Yeah. Dino Crisis is never coming back.
I need to know if that is a licensing issue.
That's a great question.
I need to know if that's the hiccup.
Because even when they made Dino Crisis 3 way back in the day for the original Xbox, it was completely different characters, completely different story, completely different setting.
That was the one that was in space, right?
That was the one in space, yeah. And they didn't have Regina in it. So it's like, is that a licensing issue?
I don't know.
Maybe the character design or something? I don't know.
Because, like, they brought back... Not brought back, because they made the sequel to Dragon's Dogma. They're now bringing back Okami, but they're also not afraid, and Onimusha. So they're very okay with, and also they're actively cracking out and having development like 6 games at a time. Capcom is fucking killing it right now, but and they haven't officially canceled Pragmata. That is still a thing, and then that game that we thought was Onimusha but isn't. That we still haven't figured out exactly what the gameplay of it is, that it's a heavily Japanese name. Do you remember that game?
Are you talking about Kunitsugami?
Kunitsugami. Yeah. That is still a thing. That's a brand new game. And they're still making Resident Evil games on top of Street Fighter and Monster Hunter. So, like, they are just...
MVC, I'm thinking Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm thinking Capcom versus SNK, probably, because we're already seeing signs of it. And maybe Beautiful Joe someday.
The fact that you have Kamiya working with them with Clovers
is back. Yeah,
there's a very good chance that Beautiful Joe is going to be a thing. And I'm telling you right now, Susie said it on Twitter, and I'm going to back it up. Itsuno's no longer at Capcom. People like to forget that the guy who made Devil May Cry is Kamiya.
Yeah.
And he has been the person who's been making the Bayonetta games. As much as they didn't sell well, the combat in them was phenomenal. So he might be the guy that they hire out to make the next Devil May Cry. And if he is, I might squeal a little bit because I don't know who else they have qualified to pick that up, because they've gotten to the point of where that thing is such a fine-tuned machine to where you are only going to make a new game if you're making improvements on what is already there. So you might have to get Kamiya unless you're going to license it out to that. I can't remember what Itsuno changed to, but I doubt they're going to wake Brock May Cry. Brock May Cry tears of joy if I hear that Kamiya's working on that. And I tell you, the internet will fucking explode if we have the reversal back to where Kamiya is going to be working on freaking Devil May Cry. But Kiona got disconnected. I hope that he's not completely gone.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, no, Kiona, come back.
Are you okay? We'll keep going. But, all right. So, I have to... This might be the weirdest thing that I've seen in a while. But, so, for those who didn't watch the Game Awards, I kind of spontaneously combusted when Astrobot won Game of the Year. Because I was not expecting that. But it was awesome to see just a platformer, an awesome little fun platformer that feels like and plays like it was made just for the sheer point of having fun and nothing else. It's a great little game. It really is. And it won Game of the Year over 5 other games, and one of them was Black Myth Wukong, another game that I've talked highly about and really enjoyed and would have been okay if it won Game of the Year. Now, something that has happened. One thing that they like to do with the Game of the Year awards is they like to have the head of the studio or the main director of the game that won the previous year come out and, kind of pass the torch and give the award to the next game. So they had, I believe it was the head of Larian Studios that made Baldur's Gate 3 come out and give the award. Sven Vinky, if I remember his name correctly. So
Yes.
he comes out, gives this award, and talks about how the game developers shouldn't treat people like numbers. They shouldn't just do this for cost cutting and different things. And all this stuff. And so there's two things here. Astrobot won Game of the Year and Black Myth Wukong did not. That resulted in not Astrobot getting review bombed on Steam, because Astrobot's not on Steam. It resulted in Baldur's Gate 3 getting review bombed because they couldn't review bomb Astrobot.
Wow.
Gamers never change, never fucking change. Jesus Christ.
He who fights with monsters should be careful who hereby becomes a monster. I spent money and I'm pissed off. I'm giving it a negative review. Worse than Astrobot, just a garbage game with good sales. If developers don't care about sales or reviews, please don't mind my negative reviews. I didn't play any of the Game of the Year nominees. Still a long backlog. I have no skin in the game. I just find both despising and funny. Now, when there's a quote in there that says, if developers don't mind or care about bad reviews, please don't mind my negative reviews. It talked about how developers should care more about making a good game and taking more about, then, how do I want to say this? About caring less about sales and more about making a good game and other stuff. And now, I didn't read it exactly myself because there was this thing that supposedly they think that the translation of what Sven Venke said was bad in the Chinese translation. So it supposedly made it look like it was targeting Chinese game developers for treating employees bad.
What?
And they think that might be part of it. I didn't get the full extent because no one would get into it, but a couple of people that said that they looked at the Chinese translation said it might not have been great. so that could be part of it. But the fact that a studio that gave a game award is being review bombed because the game that they want to review bomb isn't on Steam is fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah.
That is 7 different levels of petty.
Wow.
That's just such stupid behavior, to be honest.
More like Woker, Umbreon. Yeah, because Ciri, who anyone who played The Witcher, 90% of the people that played it got the ending where Geralt happily retires drinking wine from his vineyard and plowing Yennefer, and then Ciri takes over for him. Which, if I'm going to choose a life, I'm going to choose the life of having daily sex with the beautiful raven-haired witch lady than going out and risking my life. I'm just, if anyone has seen Yennefer and disagrees with me, I think you are making bad choices. But, yeah, Ciri, go ahead. You go have fun. I'm going to sit back here with Yennefer and drink wine. That's what my life's going to be now. So, yeah, it's something. The other thing was, and I don't know if this is true, and there's been some other things that have been said, but there's no substantiated proof, so that's why I'm not saying it is what it is. There was some people that are at the Game Awards that supposedly saw them tearing up that they didn't win, and that supposedly they had a Game of the Year award acceptance speech written 2 years in advance.
2 years ago.
Now, I don't know if that's true. I didn't see an exact quote from this developer, so I'm not going to be one of those people that says that it is a thing, but that's some of the crap that's being spread around. Now, I do think that it's great that, like, Wukong and Stellar Blade, both great and amazing games. I will give them that. Stellar Blade did have a lot of, like, invisible wall issues and some other stuff that they had to patch, so it wasn't perfect, but it was a good game. It is nice to see some Chinese representation in games like that from smaller studios. It is nice. But if we're going to complain about games that shouldn't have won Game of the Year a bunch of times, then I'm almost never happy with the Game Awards. So if I was going to cry every year, I would have stopped watching the Game Awards when Horizon got snubbed every single year. Or when God of War got snubbed, or if your opinions are going to be one of the what should win Game of the Year, and it doesn't yours or not winning awards, then we shouldn't watch these because you're not going to get it 100% of the time. Me and Kiona have watched these things, live streamed the last 3 of them, and watched one game win 90% of the awards and then not win Game of the Year, which is the equivalent of a movie getting all of the other awards, including direction, acting, writing, and all this, and then not win the Academy Award for Best Movie, which I never understand that logic. Ever. You have the best everything, but this ever movie was better. How?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I think most of the time that happens, it's just usually a vote split. Like, I feel like 80% of the time that usually is what happens. But speaking of the Oscars, like, the amount of people crying, I'm like, y'all wouldn't survive the Academy Awards. Oh my god! If they were there during the La La Land Moonlight debacle, and that happened at the Game Awards.
Oh my god! The
internet would catch on fire.
Yeah,
would have had to call our Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton.
I don't know what that would be for movie people, but I don't know. Yeah, it's something. It's one of these things where you watch these award shows to just see something, and if your home team gets one, it's cool. I mean, that's seriously how I treat these. I gain nothing. I sleep in the same bed when the award shows are done. I do whatever. The only thing that's cool is I might buy a Game of the Year copy of my game just to put it up there, because that was my little baby that I was cheering for at the Little League game. That's all it is. But all right.
Well, I still say Brianna should have won that Performance of the Year award, but that's just me.
I will tell you, it was weird that I think that's the only time they've ever had someone win the award twice.
Yeah, in that particular category, I think so.
Yeah, I'm still like, and like, I agree with you. In my opinion, Yuri should have won that year. Yuri should have won that year. But
I agree.
It is what it is. All right.
Yeah.
Secret Levels has been renewed for a season 2. What do we want to see in a season 2? What do we want to see get an episode in Secret Levels?
A second Concord episode.
Ooh,
Yes,
ouch.
absolutely.
You know what's really
More
sad?
Concord.
I bet you the story of that's going to be really good. That's the sad part. That is the sad part. But Destiny, good luck.
You know what? I would not mind seeing Destiny get a little.
I would
story,
mind
get a
seeing
short.
Destiny get an anime. I think it would be
Yeah.
pretty good if they
Yeah,
actually committed to it, because all the story that they have that people don't like having to play through all the gotcha shit for, it would do well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, I know this would 100% never, ever, ever happen because Nintendo, but man, I would kill for a Metroid episode.
that'd be-
Someone else
no,
in the group
that'd be
chat I'm in
kick-ass.
said that.
I wouldn't be so against that. The fact that we got a Mario movie says worlds about this. Metroid would
Yeah.
be the one I think that would work the best for something like this. The fact that
I
we
think
have
so, too.
Pac-Man in a dungeon crawling horror game.
It's super weird.
It's
I'm kind
anything's
of like
open.
low key like hyped for that game.
I am
like,
too, and it
I'm
explains
like,
that.
okay.
It explains why that episode was so fucking weird. But
I
yeah,
would love to see. Well, I mean, I know that they have the anime on Netflix, but I mean, I think like maybe a Castlevania kind of thing, or maybe like a
Yeah.
Contra.
I was gonna say Devil May
episode.
Cry, but then we have the anime coming out.
Yeah,
Contra
like a
wouldn't be
Contra
half
thing.
bad. Like a Streets of Rage would be another one.
yeah, I would love that.
A Street Fighter.
Cyberpunk.
Crash Bandicoot.
Cyberpunk, I think will have less because they're getting another anime.
Are
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, they are. They've announced they're getting another anime with Netflix. What it's about,
You know-
I have no idea, but they've announced it.
I was thinking of something.
Anthem,
like
I would watch the shit out of Umbreon. Anthem
Yeah.
had a great story. They just didn't want to make this. No one cared about the game. They had the most literal excuse to put whatever they wanted in a game. It's the Anthem of Creation. It just makes a thing.
Dude, you know what would kill in this format and would also be a sign that the IP isn't dead? Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah. Zone of the Enders would be another good one.
Zone of the Enders.
Armored Core would be
Ooh.
pretty sick.
Didn't they? Do they have one?
I don't think so. Not to my knowledge. I thought the closest thing they had was like Warhammer or whatever it was.
They do. Armored Core Asset Management was episode 8.
Oh, was that? I haven't watched all of them yet. I didn't
I
know that
haven't
was
watched.
Armored Core. Oh,
Yeah,
but
apparently.
Assassin's
They
Creed.
had a Crossfire one for crying out loud.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed wouldn't be bad. You know what? They should go
Assassin's
properly
Creed.
stupid and make one about Pong.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, yes.
Do the Pac-Man thing, but with Pong.
Yes.
Fucking Gun Valkyrie. If nobody knows what Gun Valkyrie is, look it up.
Yeah,
That game was cool.
Hey,
I'm
maybe
with
this is
Dino
how we get.
Crisis.
I was just about to say that. Oh my god, you read my mind. I'm like, that's how Dino Crisis is gonna come back, and then we'll never hear anything from it ever
We'll
again.
never hear anything from it ever again.
No, what they would do is they would make another Capcom property and have a commercial for Dino Crisis on in that one, and then that is
You
the
know-
only thing. They would make an Exoprimal one before they
Exactly.
make
It
Dino Crisis.
would be Exoprimal, and it would just have like there would be like a little thing of Regina somewhere, but they wouldn't.
Or have it be
name her.
illegal. Hey, have it be like a law commercial, like Better Call Saul. Like, hey, do you got a crisis? Do you
No.
got a Dino Crisis?
No. What the worst part is, you two don't realize how bad it is. Exoprimal's main character is just a knockoff of the main character from Dino Crisis. It's a short,
really is.
bob-haired redhead girl, not named
Yeah.
Regina.
Wow.
And
No, what was
yeah,
she named?
I don't
Like-
know what her name was, but it wasn't
It
Regina.
started with an M or something.
But yeah, I would just
Majesty
love for them
or
to
something like that. It was
just
weird.
love for them to be like what you basically said would be like, we're having a crisis, and it
Dino
cuts,
Crisis.
and it cuts before they could fully say it.
Oh, yeah, to do it
Final
like
Fantasy.
CSI Miami style with the sunglasses, we got a Dino Crisis.
Oh man.
You know what's really sad? It doesn't need it, but I could see them making one for GTA 6
You know what? I
As like a
actually do
I
see
can
that.
see that.
as like a pre-hype for it. I would like a
Splatterhouse.
I would like a Just Horizon one. Just Horizon. That would
cool.
be pretty good. Not an amalgamation of a bunch of different ones.
Maybe this is how we get a bunch of old IPs back. Twisted Metal, Splatterhouse.
Twisted Metal. Well, Splatterhouse would be bad. Twisted Metal, maybe not as much since they got the live action TV show.
They got
going.
the live action show, but that ain't. It's fine.
A Mass Effect, even though they are making the TV
Mass Effect.
show.
Spyro the Dragon.
Spyro, Crash.
See that?
Crash, but it needs to be an episode not animated, live action following around the guy in the suit.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Then just
Bring
that
that
one.
back.
It just the rest of the episode can be animated, but he has to look like the guy in the suit.
God.
Lost Planet. I can see Lost Planet.
Lost
That's
Planet,
another
would it be
Capcom
bad?
IP that they can bring back.
Knack! Get me an episode based on Knack.
Oh, I got it, Brock. I got it. This one's for Josh. Bug Snacks. Bug
God
Snacks.
damn it.
I hate
Bug
it.
Snacks Empire shall continue.
I hate it here. I hate it here so much. Yeah, no, that is a cool thing that I see them. They can do a lot of fun things with. But that's awesome. That's getting a second one. That's another thing just killing it for them.
This is how I get my brute force reboot. This is how that happens.
You're gonna keep wanting it. You know what?
Yes.
I want a video game episode of the God of War ripoff Ghost Rider game that they made.
Yes.
That was awesome. Bring the Power Rangers back, but in the form of video games. They are. Did you see Rita's Revenge?
Out right
that
now.
thing
Yeah,
is
Rita's
amazing.
Revenge.
Rita's Revenge.
Rita's
looks like
Rewind,
it'd be
excuse
amazing.
me.
Or was it? I thought it was. Oh, it's Rewind, but no, that game looks phenomenal. But all right, moving on to movies and TV shows. The Lord of the Rings: War for Rohirrim opens up with 4.6 million domestically. Warner Bros. Has now made a statement saying that the film was fast-tracked to ensure New Line Cinema did not lose the film rights adaptation to Tolkien's novels.
Yeah, I got some thoughts on this.
I mean, the fact that it only got that one trailer, right?
They only
there's like no marketing on this, like, at all.
Yeah, they all they did was that one trailer, and the worst thing about that is they leaned so heavily on connecting this to the Peter Jackson trilogy.
No, they would never.
No, and the problem with this is the Lord of the Rings movies, like those were like building their box office worldwide, and then The Hobbit came out in 2012, made $1 billion because it's Lord of the Rings, but then the sequels went down in box office
Because they realized it wasn't Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
And also it has created like a huge expletive like labor law. So
good Jesus Christ. You would be the only
No!
accent Saslav ever
No!
got, Umbreon.
no, bad Umbreon, bad.
Be
No,
careful what you wish for.
Yes. You would get it, and then it would not be good. But, yeah, we need to stop having the fast-tracking things for the sake of keeping rights.
Yeah,
That practice needs to stop.
It does. On the other hand, this movie, I have my nitpicks. It does look like it could have used a bit more elbow grease in terms of time, money, resources. But the movie itself.
Wait, are you meaning to tell me it looks like parts of it were rushed?
Yeah, and when you see it, it'll be very noticeable. There's certain sequences involving some CGI that's not quite gelling with the 2D character designs, but that aside, the movie actually is actually really good, and I wish more people were to see it, but because they didn't, it just kind of puts the kibosh on animated projects doing cool things like this, because this, on paper, this is like this is what all animation fans want. They want more 2D on the big screen. They want movies that aren't just comedies for kids. like they got it all here, and then they just didn't go support it.
Yeah, what this reminds me of was this last season of JJK, where they talked about how openly they said that the fight scenes was like Sakuna in Shibuya were only animated like 80% of the way. But then everyone's like, these are the best fight scenes I've ever had. Imagine if they were finished.
But also just, man, like poor Jason DeMarco, just oof.
Oh yeah, between this and Uzumaki, I feel bad for him. And he even put out a statement a while ago, not directly because of this, but just I guess just things in general. He's like, yeah, starting in January, I'm done with social media. I just can't.
And also what was bad enough for him with Uzumaki is more people went, is this Naruto? Than his being an original work. Because at this point, more people associate that last name with Naruto than his freaking work. And I'm like, guys, Uzumaki did exist in other things other than Naruto. The name means a thing. It's a word.
Well,
it's
Uzumaki's literally
literally
a type of... Right, it's also like a type of noodle.
Yes.
Which is why Naruto likes ramen.
Yes. All right. So I saw this statement and I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. Roger Eggers has thanked SpongeBob for introducing younger audiences to Nosferatu for the first time.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Nosferatu. Just as a kid, I went, "What is that alien doing with the search light?" And then my mom's like, "That's Nosferatu. He's a bear." I'm like, "Oh, okay. That's how I met him too. I had no idea what he was."
Yeah, that was how I was introduced to him, and then I actually saw the movie for the first time in my high school film studies class.
Okay.
So,
nice.
But yeah, that's something else I said on social media, like cartoons, the ones that we grew up with, are kind of how most of us, at least people in our generation, learned about old Hollywood and old pop culture. Yeah. Like Animaniacs and Tiny Toons had all those references, all the classic Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry. That's how I learned about like the golden age of Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. They weren't afraid to reference it.
I mean, how many kids shows or movies made fucking like Chinatown references? And then when I finally saw it and saw who directed it, that kind of crushed my soul, and I haven't been able to watch it since.
Understandable.
Yeah. All right. I just had to get that in there because I saw that on Twitter and I've laughed really hard about it. All right. So this just in, Zachary Levi is about to go fucking ballistic. A live-action Tangled remake is in the work at Disney. A live-action Tangled remake is in the work at Disney. If you're about to see a grade A+ quality crash out for the next 2 years, it's going to be Zachary Levi.
I don't understand. Like, why are we doing this? Clearly, like, you're yearning for Once Upon a Time. The children yearn for it.
I don't know. Of all the ones, like, I get they're just checking off the list at this point, but I'm like, Tangled? That's the one?
It's like the same thing like Moana. Like, I get the stuff, that's like is 20, is 30. More like the stuff that's, Tangled. That's, kind of like, oh, hey, we're, reaching our 96 years and we need to extend our copyright. That was like, I get. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I get it. But I'm like, why?
Like, Fiona, I love Tangled too, but were you sitting in your home vigorously going, when am I getting my live action?
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Exactly. No. It's like, Moana is the craziest one. Like, we're like live action already?
Whoa, and the thing about Moana is it's the most nakedly obvious, this is a vanity project for Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, because, know, he's selling tickets. Red 1 blew up the box office. It did. All of them tell me, oh, wait, it bombed horribly? Oh, no. Who could have saw this coming? 7 more piss bottles and it would have sold well.
Well,
That was what it was. If only he had more pee bottles.
Yeah, not enough piss.
The sad part is, Red 1 wasn't bad. I actively walked in expecting it to not be great. It wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't a dumpster fire, but it wasn't like great by any means.
No.
But it wasn't a dumpster fire.
No. I'll see Chris Evans in anything.
I mean, speaking of piss, like, Mike, do you even want to, like, bring this up since we're kind of on that subject?
Yeah,
Because
we might as well.
Do you hold on. What are we in a similar subject with piss bottles on that I'm not aware of? That's not in the docket. What are we? What?
The piss bottle that's known as the Walt Disney Company.
Continue, Bree.
Yeah, okay. The reason I'm saying this because, I mean, it's politics or whatever, but I kind of feel like this is like is connected with like the creatively bankruptness of it all. And you know what, Mike, you can elaborate on this more because I don't want to get into a rant, and I kind of feel like in private I said my piece with you yesterday.
Oh, okay. So, Pixar has an upcoming series on Disney Plus called Win or Lose, and we heard the other day that they removed a scene involving a trans girl, and that scene has been leaked online. People have been circulating around.
Okay,
but like, it's between this and the episode of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur that Disney just removed because of a similar subplot. I'm just like, guys, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Disney, you guys are cowards.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even so much that, but to me, like, the obviousness of it aside, I mean, I'm just gonna be like brutally honest, like, regardless of what happened during the election, like, these were coming out because so much of this, I mean, yeah, it's like the blah, 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 you're going to have like family groups, like whatever. I mean, Disney's been dealing with that fucking bullshit for decades. So that's like nothing new. But what we're seeing is more like a restrictiveness, we're going to stuff that's familiar, that we know that's safe because, and this is, between like the theatrical marketing, shrinking even more because we freaking like butt fucked everything during this COVID. We can't have our movies in our theaters. Let's use them to boost up of our streaming service. And then we're like, fuck. The streaming services are actually a giant money pit. And it's just this vicious cycle that keeps getting worse and worse. And that's why you're getting bullshit like Moana 2, the live action remakes. And it's not just Disney doing this. To me, this is just a troubling sign of things are just going to be very, very bad. And I think they're going to be way worse than people are anticipating.
Yeah, and well, the worst part is that if one of them makes $1 billion, then it justifies the other ones. That Lion King live action with heavy fucking quotation marks did well, and that is the kick in the pants. Because if it did one, it's gonna.
But here's the thing too. That came out 2019, like before the pandemic, and we completely destroyed the theatrical model. I don't think Mufasa's gonna have nearly the same level of success.
I don't think so either. But I'm just saying, they get one hit. They're literally like a crack addict at this point with what they're depending on. They get one juice good hit there and they're like, no, 5 more of those will work. And that's why we're getting...
You want to know who's really to blame? Tim Burton with the Alice in Wonderland remake. When that in...
Oh, yeah, that did make a fuckload of money, didn't it?
Yeah, it made like over $1 billion in 2010, the year after... God. Not even the year.
It was like 4 months.
Yeah, 4 months after Avatar, like... because it was like in 3D and everything. It was...
Oh, yeah.
And just the irony that it happened to Tim Burton of all these people is definitely like palpable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How much money did that, what was that other live action one that they did that was in that same universe, if it will? Wasn't like a Red Queen movie or something? What the hell was that other one?
Through the Looking Glass?
Looking Glass? Did that bomb or no?
Oh no, it bombed hard.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I couldn't remember. I did not go watch it. I was not even remotely interested at all. But yeah, it's one of those things where I've said my piece a number of times. I'm okay with, again, every Sunday church-going Christian here. I don't care. Characters are characters, and they're going to have the characteristics that they have, and I have no problems with them having it. Diversity for the sake of diversity, if you shove it in someone's face, is bad, and people are going to recoil from it. I know nothing about these scenes, but if a character is just being that character, and they're not trying to, like, be a propaganda item, there's nothing wrong with that. And you shouldn't just rip something out of a script if it's just a character being that. That's not a bad thing. It's people in the world that are going to exist at this point. There's not a bad thing them being around. If you're going to be a dickhead and propagandize them for certain reasons, then yeah, there's might be some people who can rightfully go, you're shoving shit in my face. And could that be hateful? Yes. But could it be, depending on who's doing it, could it be rightfully saying this is a stupid thing? Yes. But most of the time it isn't. And you shouldn't just go, because it falls in this category, rip it out of the scene. That's not how that should work. Because you can have, like, a great example of it recently is in the last Life is Strange game, there was a transgender male to female named Gwen. I had no idea that the character was transgender at first, because there's like a message app in all the Life is Strange games where you see like social media and stuff like that to like give you clues for certain scenes to like distinguish stuff. And this was the first game where, like, you know how you get like a epilepsy warning, a whatever. This was a trans. I want to make sure I'm not misquoting them. Not a transphobia, but like a trans hate warning, to where like you might see it in the game. Like, I got like 7 different tickers, and one of them was about transgenderism, and I like, what? And then I played through the whole game. Like, you can tell from like jawline structure and some other things that obviously it was a person who went through a transition, but they didn't shove it in your face. It was a character whose entire plot line was that they got a person's book canceled, and that through various circumstances, and there being multiversal shit that went on, that a version of her got framed for selling drugs to kids to get kicked out. It had nothing to do with the character being transgender, but yet there was a warning in the like user agreement thing. It was like, I was like, okay, there's going to be some harassing things said towards this character Gwen, who I'm assuming it was based on the text message stuff, and then it never happened. Like, why did you have this warning in here? I don't get, unless I didn't get the correct dialogue options to trigger one of them. But it was so weird to me that was in there. I didn't get that. And that's weird to me how they're treating this stuff for certain things. Because we're going to get to another one later about some of the just idiocracy that's being said about certain characters that showed up during the Game Awards. But I don't get how some of the shit's being treated. And especially the warnings and other things where it's just, if you're not shoving into people's faces, the character's not hurting anyone. If the character's just existing as that person, it's not a bad thing. It won't be.
See, if a transgender people existing doesn't do anything to anybody, that's the thing. It's not, it's, like, people need to just stop with all the hatred towards them.
No. And I will admit, there are certain projects in the start of when they started doing them that were very ham-fisted, and they were using it as, you shouldn't use diversity as a selling point. You shouldn't be like, you should only come and watch our movie because there's a trans person in it. That makes me think that your movie's not that great, as you're selling it just off the sheer fact that a trans person's in it. You should just sell the movie and have the trans person be in it. And then people meet them and it be a good character. I can see complaints as far as that goes. But if you just hate the person surely because they are transgender, that's dumb. That's very stupid. Because that person's not affecting you. It goes back to one of my favorite Ron White jokes. Everyone, this is going to get a little dirty, but I have to tell this because it's my favorite analogy for this whole thing. you, whatever you be, don't hate someone because of what they are. It's dumb. And it goes back to how the very first label of this stuff that doesn't work with how it's labeled is homophobic, because homophobic people aren't scared of gay people. 9 times out of 10, homophobic people are scared that a gay person's trying to make them gay.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not what phobic means. You're not scared that a spider's gonna make you a fucking spider. You're scared of spiders. But going on to that, he's like, Ron tells about how he's got this cousin, Ray, who's homophobic. And he's like, there's nothing more dumb in the world that you can be is afraid of gay people. If you're afraid of gay people, just every thought in your mind, let it go, because I don't need to hear about you talk. But he goes on to talk about how he's like, all right, everybody's a little bit gay and I can prove it. And he goes, I ain't gay at all. He's like, yeah, you are, and I can prove it. He goes, fine, prove it. He goes, all right, do you watch porn? He's like, yeah, I love porn, you know that. He goes, okay. Do you watch just 2 women making love? He's like, no, I'll watch a man and a woman making love. He's like, okay. Do you like the man to have a half-flaccid penis? He goes, no, I love big throbbing cup. I did not know that about myself. And like, I'll often make the comment, I am a straight man, but Ryan Reynolds exists. Everybody's got a little bit of what they want to say in that, but it's just, don't be that person. If it's just there to exist, don't cancel out a whole show or a whole property because a thing's there, which, like, Mike, it's 1 episode, 1 scene, you said?
Yeah, it's like, it's just 1 scene, but, you know,
does she even mention that she's transgender?
Well, not in like the dialogue, but in like the imagery. I'll show it after the stream.
But like, it's not going out of their way to be like, this character's interesting just because of the fact that she's transgendered. She's just transgendered in the scene, correct?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting at. Don't act like they're selling you on it when they're just having a character be that character. It's really stupid when you just flip your whole brain off because you see the T word or whatever. But, all right. Speaking of other smart decisions, Sony and Disney's deal reportedly never prevented Spider-Man from appearing in any of their Sony spin-off films. Tom Holland's Spider-Man could have been used. Sony thought that audiences wouldn't accept him appearing in non-MCU films, and the multiverse established definitive boundaries, but also Venom, making damn near $1 billion, presented a false impression that Sony and audiences would like to see movies about Spider-Man characters without Spider-Man needing to be in them.
I mean, it could have made money because it was fucking like Venom, and it was finally like a good version of Venom, or at least one that was acceptable in quality.
Yeah, there is a world of difference between Venom, as far as like popularity, and El Muerto.
God, with Bad Bunny in the starring role.
A character who doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. Like,
I didn't know he existed until they brought him up that they were going to make a movie about him. They were going to make a movie about El Muerto before Black Cat and Miles fucking Morales!
God damn.
Every time they announce a new one, I'm like, they've announced that he exists. You've made animated films about him. Hire an actor. Make the movie. Take your time and care. But anyway, so now Sony is expected to reset their Spider-Man universe. Sony is taking their recent misfires with heavy quotations very seriously. They didn't take it very seriously, you know, after now, give or take, the movies that they've all made were in process and too far along to just scratch without hoping they could make some money off of them. But I would like to know what them taking very seriously means.
Great question.
Now, what does that even mean?
Because are you then going to flush all this down the drain? And then if the rules are true, you can put your Spider-Man in these, put him in these movies. And then another one was that they were thinking of hiring another Spider-Man to be in their Spider-Man universe separate from the MCU, where they literally just that's a rumor, by the way, big heavy quotation marks rumor, where they basically just say that Tom Holland is MCU Spider-Man and they have a different one, which I don't think that's a half bad idea. If you're going to make your own Sony Spider-Man movies, have your own Spider-Man, because Tom Holland is not going to appear in every single spin-off movie you make just to sell you those movies off, him being in them for 10 minutes.
Yeah, because that just seems like a waste of his time. And I know he's got a busy next couple years between Spider-Man 4, Christopher Nolan's next movie, whatever project he's doing, and yes, Umbreon, bring back Andrew Garfield.
I want to bring him back too, but it's getting to the point of where he's going to look like a 50-year-old in those movies.
Yeah,
And
that's fair.
And this is, I don't mean to be mean. I understand people like Andrew Garfield, but ever since No Way Home came out, people are getting to the level of Snyderverse culty about how, well, this means we need to have Amazing Spider-Man 3. We need to have Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I won't fucking watch Spider-Man movies until I get them. It's getting to Snyderverse levels of horseshit. And we need to realize that they did that for a story. And we can be okay with it just being that. I don't need to continue these things for the sake of continuing them, because then it's going to go, well, we're never going to try anything new because we'll just bring back the old guys, which we just spent a half an hour talking about how we don't want that.
And that it's bad. Very, very bad. And that everything sucks and it's terrible.
Now, for Secret Wars and Doomsday, the multiverse shit, yes, bring back the old actors, because that's a multiverse movie. But
Yeah,
don't start
that I'm okay with.
Yes, exactly. But if you're going to get a new kid, get a new kid. I want to have young Peter Parker. I don't need to. Now, if you're going to do a one-time Tobey Maguire, Logan-style Last Stand movie, that's fine. But don't bring him, don't bring Andrew back, who's already approaching 40, and then expect him to do a Spider-Man movie every 4 years to where he gets another trilogy and he's 65 by the time he's in it.
Andrew Garfield's 41.
Yeah, he's 41 already. So, yeah. We don't need him to be 50 playing Spider-Man, looking like he's supposed to be 30. We don't need that. So,
No.
Yeah. We don't need that. We don't need that at all. So,
No.
yeah. But, anyway, Kiona, do you have any thoughts or anything?
For that, not really, other than, well, that probably would have helped their bottom line.
Okay. Do you have a, what did I want to say? Do you have, what would be your honest to God, and I can ask for everybody, what do you think the best jumping off point, if it's not exactly a Spider-Man movie, what would be the best thing they could do for a spin-off that would actually make them look serious that they're trying this again?
Silver Sable.
Both of those ain't bad. Do you think they could make a Kingpin movie to establish a bunch of characters in New York for future movies?
If they had him go up against maybe somebody like Tombstone.
Okay, two rivaling crime bosses, both of them being pieces of shit.
Yeah, maybe.
And you call it Block Party.
Block Party. Well, they would have to have Kingpin something, but Block Party ain't bad. I would like to. Hey guys, I would like a PSN gift. You know, you're being my #1 viewer. Umbreon, I'll think about it. I am planning on possibly giving away a gift card for a Christmas stream, so we'll see, buddy. That might be a thing. But having something as an overarching thing to where they could actually have it going around, I think that could be kind of cool. But yeah, Black Cat or Silver Sable, those are ones that you can do good stuff with. But they need to thread the line where we mentioned in the podcast before with how Madam Web's timeline worked out. There would have been 5 different Spider-Man themed villains in the world before Spider-Man.
That's something that needs to be like completely jettisoned.
Yeah. You can like have Spider-Man exist, but establish that Spider-Man exists. So that you're not like Gothaming it, where you're having Riddler, Joker, and everyone before you have Batman. People who were out of the woodwork in response to Batman. But yeah, all right. Okay, holy boys, that was a lot of that took up a lot of lines. I forgot how many they had. Okay, so I am going to let people that know more about this than me talk about this because I don't know. Mike, I think you were the one that put this in here, so Mike, take her away.
Okay. I'm going to pull up Wikipedia just so I don't get my facts wrong. But
Umbreon Forsaken is still full price. Are you serious?
Seriously? Like for reals?
That's surprising.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Forspoken, but that blows my mind. It's full price. Anyway, Mike, go ahead.
So it appears as if Warner Brothers has decided not to renew their deal to release new episodes of Sesame Street. So for those who don't know, around 2016, Sesame Street moved from like premiering like new episodes on PBS. Now they just do reruns to like premiering on HBO. So it became kind of a premium children's educational series instead of...
Yeah, because that's a good thing.
And so now what Sesame Workshop has to do is find a new home. And this is bad because Sesame Street has been it's not just a good program for children. It's like one of the cornerstones of like edutainment for the past
50 plus years.
50 plus years.
And they're everywhere. Like me and Kiona for 4 hours got to watch Statler Waldorf just roast the living shit out of Jeff Keighley, and it was amazing.
Yes, that was amazing. Honestly, really was.
That is one thing. More creators need to allow themselves to get the shit ripped out of them in their own programming. It is the highest compliment I could see any creator do, allowing themselves to get ripped apart in their own videos by themselves.
I would imagine that probably Jeff Keighley wrote a lot of the jokes there.
Oh, absolutely. Either that or said, here, make jokes about these subjects.
Yeah.
Especially the Kojima thing. Yeah, Kojima's his best friend.
All
Does
the
Kojima know that?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I hope they're back every year. That was freaking of the Rocco storyline.
That was really great.
Now, who do you got? Because, again, I'm not as versed in this. I've been out of the Sesame Street world for quite a while. Who do you think is the most likely standing or landing point?
Three.
And where do you want it to go?
Where I want it to go is probably Prime Video, because they have actually a good selection of, not that I'm watching all their children's programming, but you know, I see ads for those shows like all the time. That or
I would say like Apple.
I was gonna say Apple next.
Okay. Apple wouldn't be a bad one. I would say Peacock. No, I just don't. The reason I say
no, God, no. I mean, you saw that comment like I sent the other day. Like,
yeah, God,
I thought I almost chucked my phone. I'm like, absolutely the fuck not.
No, we don't need that.
But the reason I say Apple is because they do have a lot more child-friendly shows on it already, and they already have Fraggle Rock.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that would not be bad. And yeah, they will get taken good care of at Apple. And that would help Apple tremendously, because as much as they have good shows, that
Yeah,
app does not get
they have
views.
they have like all of the Peanut specials. They have Fraggle Rock. They have the Frog and Toad. There's
Well, the other reason I think, yeah,
they made a series of Frog and Toad. I think like 2 years, either last year or 2 years ago.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's honestly like
no, Apple
really
doesn't have
solid.
a lot, but what they have is like super refined, which is another reason probably Sesame would work, is because they would give it like the attention. It wouldn't just be like, because Apple doesn't have like hundreds of shows.
Yeah, they unlike other streaming services, they for the most part are like focusing on quality over quantity,
Which is good.
and that's mostly on the TV side. The movies are something else.
They're like hit or miss. Like, I mean, they've had some like good ones, but also other ones I'm like, I like completely forgot what I watched. But also, Apple TV Plus just justifies its existence with Mythic Quest alone.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. Yeah, and oh god, Ashley Birch is so good in that. That show I think is one of the reasons why I've never seen her at cons, because she's too damn busy. But anyway, yeah, it's that and freaking Shrinking, freaking Ted Lasso, Monarch, For All of Mankind. They've just got a ton of good stuff on there. It's one of those where people don't give it enough things, and I'm going to be honest, they don't advertise themselves well.
They really don't.
I mean, that's basically been the problem with Apple TV Plus since day one.
Mm-hmm.
What's even crazier is that it's like the cheapest of the streaming services, like ironically, even though it's Apple and usually comes bundled with like your iCloud, whatever.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. All right, so Ella Parnell, everyone knows as the video game girl recently, has said that she thinks she might stay away from video game adaptations for now to avoid being typecast, but has also said, I'm going to be the video game girl. There are worse things than that to be, I suppose. Which, she's been good in a lot. She was, wasn't she in... Oh, now I'm blanking on it. That Zack Snyder movie that went to Netflix.
Army of the Dead.
With Dave Bautista. She was
Army of the Dead.
Yeah, she was good in that. And she's great in everything. Oh, good Lord, she looked beautiful at the Game Awards. She's a very just down-to-earth, great person. And she's gonna do fine. I mean, she's gonna be out of Arcane for a little bit. Let's not kid ourselves here. Anyone who actually thinks Jinx died in that show, no. But
No.
Yeah, no.
and then Fallout, I mean, yeah, she's gonna have other stuff. It's hard for me to believe that she's gonna be typecast as only doing video game adaptations when they're not exactly everywhere right now. There's more of them, but they're not everywhere. It's not like a person that only does action movies and wants to try a comedy kind of deal. It's not that same type of typecasting to me.
Although, as an aside, I think more dramatic actors should try their hand at comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Paul Mescal, for example, kind of crushed it on SNL a few weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. You get those people in the right spots. Like, I know it never would have happened, but my dream was to see Daniel Day-Lewis do a comedy. What? I don't know. But just to see him attempt it. And, like, it would have had to have been a buddy comedy across from the most just not straight-laced person on the planet. Like, if I could have seen him and, like, Liam Neeson, or no,
Oh,
sorry,
God.
Leslie Nielsen
There we
in
go.
a movie together, I think my head might have exploded. And the fact now that we're also getting a Naked Gun reboot with Liam Neeson, with all but yeah, it is a good thing that Liam Neeson too, but yeah, it's one of those things that they need to do more often, and it's very good when they do let themselves do it. Like, I know he's not his cameo in Ted 2, yeah. There was I've been told that these are exclusively for children. I love he was just basically playing his character Brian Mills from Taken in that scene. It's like, no, you won't be followed. Thank you. Yes, sir. He's so good. He's so good. I love Liam Neeson to death. But he also plays a convincing Arabic Asian American. If you've watched Batman Begins.
Oh my god!
But no one ever complained about it. I will talk about that every chance I can. No one ever complained about that because they liked it. That's the only reason that they didn't bitch. But anyway, so going on. Speaking of the break in creativity, we are getting a Scrubs reboot with the original cast, and we're also getting a Prison Break reboot at Hulu.
Isn't this like the second time that Prison Break's been rebooted, or
they brought it back and continued it way later on for a final season.
Yep,
that's what happened. But it was way freaking later.
Also, I wouldn't mind seeing Prison Baked. I think that would be hilarious too.
Prison Baked. But yeah, I just like, and this. Like the whole, like, are you going to redo the whole map on his back thing just with other actors? And like Scrubs, they tried to continue it with different actors and it just didn't work now. Are they actually going to get everyone back and really sell it off of, because that was a one that was kind of the of its time kind of thing. Are people going to care about a Scrubs reboot?
Yeah.
Be honest with me.
I mean,
it's nice seeing them in T-Mobile commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, those T-Mobile commercials
they were
are good.
fantastic.
I think part of the reason why the Scrubs reboot is happening is because of Ted Lasso and Shrinking doing really well with both critics and audiences. Bill Lawrence is kind of like, hey, so nostalgia's a thing.
Yeah.
You guys want to see more Scrubs?
We're gonna, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the show, but, what's his name?
What's Zach Braff?
Zach Braff. My opinion on needing to see him on screens has lessened quite a bit. Not that I don't like him, he's not a person that I'm begging to see more of. There's not a lot I've liked him in outside of Scrubs, and give or take, he hasn't been in a lot outside of Scrubs.
What, you didn't like Chicken Little?
The less said about that movie, the better.
But, like, again, him and Donald Faison are great together. I wouldn't have minded them doing something different. But
yeah, like a buddy comedy or something,
yeah.
or a musical or whatever.
Absolutely. But, yeah, just... At this point, why don't we do a House reboot, too, while we're at it? Like, procedurals, bring them back.
I'm sure that they will.
We're gonna... What was it that he always tried to say someone had? I can't remember it.
Lupus?
Lupus. Yes, lupus.
And then the one time it actually was lupus.
Was lupus. Like the one time. Good Lord. I don't know. It just like all of these came at like one after another that they were redoing all these and just... I'm not one of those people that gets mad when they reboot stuff, but of just... When you have a show that its entire point was one plot line like Prison Break, you don't get that again by doing it again.
Prison Break more breakier.
Prison Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. But it would be like Kiona, and you're a fan of it. You do a recap of it. It would be like them redoing Lost. Don't.
Please.
Like
don't.
you're not gonna get the idea again.
Yeah, we've seen the consequences of JJ and his mystery boxes. We've moved past.
Not even that. Not even that. I'm just talking about the idea of the island. You don't get it because we're gonna do the idea of the island again.
I am, as they call me on the podcast, the casual fan. I'm the filthy casual of that Lost rewatch podcast. So I can't call myself an actual fan of the show. I like the show. I don't think it's high art or anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are things that I like, things that I dislike.
Yeah.
Mr. Echo, one of the things that I like. Anyway.
Yes. All right. Now, moving on to the other part of the only part of the.
Oh, God damn it.
Yes. Thank you, Umbreon.
Umbreon, stop it.
Love that.
We do not need Fast and the Furious style naming conventions for shit. But, all right. So, I don't know if any of you guys watch it, but Hot Ones got sold for $82.5 million. Host Sean Evans and First We Feast founder Chris Schrovenberger, who almost got a fight picked with him jokingly by Idris Elba in his episode, which I thought was hilarious, amongst other investors, have purchased the show from BuzzFeed, which BuzzFeed not having a profitable thing makes me happy.
Yeah.
But, so
82 million?
82.5 million.
That is not a small number.
For BuzzFeed, parting with Hot Ones is a chance to pay off a chunk of the $124 million debt the company has racked up over the years. They first acquired the show 3 years ago as a part of their purchase of Complex, a rival digital media company that previously owned Hot Ones. The parent company, First We Feast, BuzzFeed, sold Complex earlier this year for $106 million, but is now letting go of the chicken wing gauntlet. So they are other names in the consortium led by Soros Fund Management include Chris Schonenberger, the host of Hot Ones parent company, First We Feast, Mythical Entertainment, the media company created by YouTubers Rhett and Link. I think that's really cool that they help buy them out. Rhett and Link are two very good guys. I've always been a big fan of them. They helped out Smosh when they were in the just shit show of getting out of Defy Media. They've always been there to kind of help other people survive in situations like this. They're big supporters of people that are content creators. And they're just overall really good dudes. And as not many people might not like the show, I am entertained by it. And Sean Evans is a very good interviewer.
Oh,
he is.
I love Hot Ones. I
mean,
like
the show.
And admittedly, I only really watch the ones that with the guests I'm interested in. But
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But even then, they've been doing some really cool kind of special things lately. Like they did one for Donald Duck for his 90th birthday, Family Guy for the 30th anniversary.
Yeah. And they've done other stuff like the Truther Wing with other with other actors and stuff like that. Like I saw the one they did with Slipknot the other day, and like they've actually got some other things around it. And you genuinely get good questions and like heartfelt shit during these interviews, and I like it. And like Idris Elba is like
ones that they have with the wrestlers.
Yeah,
those are always fun.
But yeah, and it's like the one with Stone Cold was so good.
That was good.
Yeah, it's a really good show that is just kind of pop it on in the background while you're eating dinner yourself and things like that, and it's just nice. It was one of those things that survived through COVID and still did well. It's just Sean Evans deserves a lot. I don't know how that man is still functionally having a digestive system at this point.
I have no idea either.
He's just immune to it. He's got to be. And there was one recently with... Who was the actress? There was one recently with an actress. I can't think of her name. But she went through the whole thing and never complained about the wings once. And she didn't even sweat, barely drank water, the whole shit. And Sean Evans is dying across the table. The guy that does it every single week.
Oh, wait. Was it Demi Moore?
Demi Moore, that's who it was. She was asking if they had more. Just like, and like the bomb, she's like, yeah, that's the one that normally breaks people. She just takes it and goes, yeah, that's got a bit of spice to it. Like, you're what are you made out of, woman? And she just gets through
this is why she needs to
the
win
substance.
Best actress.
Yeah, but she just did through the whole thing and did that calm, cool, and collective as if she was just like, eating bargain store wings out of a freaking like resealable bag. Nothing wrong. It was insane.
She's made out of the substance, obviously.
Yeah, but all right. So now we are going on to. So for the social media thing, we're just gonna make a contest out of what we think is the worst. Not anyone can kind of.
Yeah, I know. We have so many choices this week.
I got inundated
God.
with some shit this week, so I'm gonna just go through some of the stupidity. Some of these are fucking top shelf dumb, and I mean top shelf dumb. So there was and I need to bring up the photos for proof in this that just show how I'm gonna say the obligatory thing. Ovaries! And you don't deserve women. But we're gonna show this here. And you mean to tell me you can't goon to this? Are you feral? You think Siri is ugly? You might just be gay, dude, but it's okay to be gay. If you think this is attractive, you might be actually into dudes, but like you said, it's okay to be gay. Apparently, women aging is bad.
Why am I not surprised the Act Man is involved?
Yeah.
The state of video games discourse has reached the point of where unironically saying it is gay to find women attractive.
I am so glad I don't fuck with this site anymore. Jesus Christ on a stick.
But, all right, so... now we're gonna get to I have to find the right one. There is a person who scooped up Akira Toriyama's Twitter handle and now tweets about it all the time. So there was another game that got released announced, I should say, called Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. And so this guy is making a thing about how he fixed the main character, who it doesn't take a lot of media literacy to show that she is a homage to Ripley because she has a shaved head. Apparently now it was okay back then and wasn't before. Hey, Kiona, can you imagine if right now if Jack got introduced in a current video game?
Oh God, the shitstorm that would come out of that.
Yeah, but then she was just a badass assassin that had or a badass biotic that had tattoos.
Also, the character in Intergalactic is based on an actress.
Yeah, it's Tati Gabrielle.
Yeah,
Tati Gabrielle, who's awesome.
But no, and you're gonna see how they fixed her, and this isn't racist.
Oh, this is stupid.
Oh,
this
God.
isn't racist.
Oh no. So and they took out her blackness because I think Tati's like black and Korean, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's what it is. Oh, I want to say this is the correct one. Yeah, the guy who said it originally was the guy who stole Akira Toriyama's Twitter.
Oh, I think that fucking king. Yeah, right, because I think the Korean part is, why her character in the Owl House, like Willow's Korean.
Is that?
Yeah, her last name's Park.
Oh, I suppose, yeah. I forgot she was in the Owl House. But yeah, fun fact, this dude stole Akira Toriyama's name on Facebook and Twitter before the artist could register and posted Dragon Ball Z stuff while pretending to be the artist for an easy check. He had to switch gears after the artist died because the cash cow was gone.
Honestly, fuck this dude.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Anyone who sees this, go rip this dude to shreds. I'm not often one to send an attack squad on people, but the few people that do watch this,
exceptions to be made.
Go. This is ridiculous. This is 15 versions of a gay, just I don't mean that is I want to say hatred towards women looking different than stereotypical attractiveness, and then you fixed her by taking her blackness away. That's what we did. That's how we solved it.
I think the more insulting is that Tati Gabrielle's hot.
Beautiful. Oh yeah, absolutely gorgeous, unbelievably beautiful woman. But we're just gonna be fucking stupid. But okay, so we're gonna go on to you thought that was dumb. I'm going to show you the tip of the stupidity iceberg here.
Oh God, so, my brain is afraid, and that's saying something.
I was very vague, so you guys would be waiting to see what it was when I just said stupid intergalactic symbol theory so that you wouldn't know exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. But so we have this person So I'm gonna read you through this so that you can understand how dumb this is.
God damn it, dude.
Technically, crosses are made with rather large sticks, Umbreon, so I will let it go. I think the only practicing Christian on the podcast, I will let her be okay with that. But, so, you see this. What does that look like to you? A busted moon that has an orbit? Right?
Yep.
Because that's how gravity works? Cool.
Yeah.
This person did the digging. She did the detective work. Watch slowly. There's a circle.
It's a spiral.
Looks like a spiral.
It's a spiral. It's a symbol, little did you know.
What?
It is the symbols and logos used by pedophiles to identify sexual preferences.
What?
What?
What the actual fuck?
Can you imagine the mental gymnastics that a person went through, saw that screenshot in the video, and saw a busted moon have its debris turn into a rotational curve and went, they're pedophiles.
Go back to the second image for a second.
The second image? This one? Or this one?
Both of them. Now go back.
You know what this fucking reminds me of? The controversy with the original Lion King 1994, where they put an Easter egg of, SFX for like the sound
and they
effects.
thought it said sex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they now edited out in like new prints of the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's what? I've seen some dumb shit and some conclusions be jumped to, but this is Olympic athlete levels of jumping to conclusions.
This is like, God, who is that stupid bitch who ruined breakdancing at the Olympics?
Shit.
Was it Ray Gunn?
Ray Gunn,
Yeah,
that's who it was, yes.
This is the Way Gun of mental gymnastics.
But it's just, I would love to think of the idea of where you go, that looks like something. And how do you, off the rip, know what the U.S. Department registered trademark of something I didn't know existed? You just knew off the top. You just knew what the exact symbol for pedophiles were. I'm
not
any of
going to
you
call the police, but I am very much calling my local law enforcement.
Did
saying,
any of you know about this symbol? Am I just not in touch? Did any of you know this symbol existed?
No.
Nope.
No normal person would.
Nope.
Yeah, what? Why? Why would you need to know this?
I don't know. Like, your call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, how do you even? I just couldn't. And I'm like, you're not a person that's watching these game trailers for this. I'm like, people. I think that The Last of Us 2 is a masterpiece. Kiona does not like The Last of Us Part 2. I'm okay with that. Everyone has opinions. Hey, Kiona, did any part of your being think that Neil Druckmann at any point was a proponent of pedophilia?
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm kidding. That's sarcasm.
Like how dumb. And also, they would just openly show a tracking shot of it in the middle of a presentation at a major award ceremony.
That kids are watching?
Yeah. To show, go get our game. And now, I'm going to ask after we do this each week, which do you think was the stupidest? But I think I know the winner.
This is easily
by far. And you know what? I just look at this person. I see a blue check. I definitely know which accounts they follow, and you guys know exactly what I mean.
Yeah, it's unreal to me. When I saw that, I'm like, I've seen stupid shit. That actually made my brain come to a screeching halt.
Yeah, honestly, that's like a perfect encapsulation of why Twitter is dying. Like, this is the site now. Like, honest to God.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Twitter has become Planet Namek after Frieza blew it up.
It is that, but that's not even just Twitter, though. I saw this same thing on my Facebook. This is just people's mentality. This is people's mentality, period, now. Not even just... That's what... Now, I'm not saying Twitter's not a cesspool. That is not the point of what I'm saying. This is just what people have become now. They need to see everything bad in everything. Trying to see a positive now is looked down upon.
Yeah, that's
honestly like really valid. I mean, that's why I've like stopped like super like actively going. Like, I just go on Blue Sky, look at some art, and go neat and move on, because like mentally, like, it's like I'm hitting myself repeatedly with a sledgehammer. Why should I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't. And the worst part is, I don't want to say the internet is the problem, because the internet is the problem. I'm trying to think back to when this started in critiques. When it became, I'm not going to get noticed unless I'm negative. Because it was not always like this.
Well, I think it's because platforms like Twitter are very specifically designed to reward negativity.
Yeah.
And once you know how to game the system, then it's pretty much like game over.
God. And honestly, one of the worst ones, I'm not even going to blame Twitter, I'm going to blame YouTube. Because how do you catch traction? We were all involved in a website that literally lives off of being negative, homophobic dickheads.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they were not like that when we were there. But then we got to have their glorious leader become more of the face of it. I'm not going to say that he hates women, because women work for him. That's his reasoning for why he doesn't hate women. Because that's how that works. But anyway.
And you know, Ted Bundy loved women too. So
he did. He loved them a lot. He really loved women. So did, oh God, who's that guy that the drink the Kool-Aid's named after? Shoot. He had the like combine of people that like had the suicide. It's his name?
Oh, I'm trying to remember that, but I'm thinking David Koresh, but no, David Koresh is Waco.
Nope, I think it's the same guy that carved the swastika in his forehead. What's his name? Oh no, I'm blanking so hard. He's super famous. It's not Ted something. Shit. Anyone in the comments remind me of who I'm thinking of. Yeah, but anyway,
No. I mean, you're talking about like Heaven's Gate, right?
Like, yeah, the Heaven's Gate, like, come drink the Kool-Aid, the whole. But it was one guy that had the main name of what the thing was. I believe it's Heaven's Gate is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no, you definitely think of it.
But yeah, it's just, that's become the cool thing to do. And now, if you're a good person, you're either a shill or a simp.
It's just like,
Is the guy Marshall Applewhite?
No.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna look this up because this is gonna like bother me.
He has long, scraggly hair. I want to think God, part of me wants to say his name is Ted.
Let's see. Marshall Applewhite?
He's the founder, but I don't think that's who he's talking about.
No, that's not who I'm thinking of. I can't think of. He went to jail. Frank, I can't think of his name. He went to jail. Robin Williams had a whole comedy sketch about him in one of his stand-ups about how he was like a not sane individual, but I can't think of Charles Manson. That's who I was trying to think of.
Wow.
Good Lord, I couldn't come up with it. But the hippie cult leader, Charles Manson, I was trying to come up with originally. Good Lord, thank you, Google. But yeah, he was the one who I was thinking of originally, who was like that big, like, came in and like the whatever. But I know that might not be exactly with Heavens, but yeah, that Charles Manson, who I was trying to think of. But yeah, it's one of those things where like that guy's now up on a pedestal because, you know, whatever. But we also have to remember there was a point where Hitler, Stalin, and another leader also were in Time's Man of the Year at one point, or Person of the Year, because, you know.
But we don't talk about that.
Yeah, but so is Joe Biden and friggin' Kamala Harris and all this other shit. But they're like, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't want to get political on this podcast because it's gonna go down a shithole. But anyway, so yeah, just stop doing this shit. I know I'm gonna say this every week, but stop doing this shit. Just stop. My God, what? A person that does this stuff and then goes to sleep and goes, yes, I was racist today. I made people think someone was a pedophile, and then they just sleep with a smile on their face. I don't get how that gets done.
I hope that person steps on 1,000 Legos.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I don't wish for a marble-sized kidney stone, but it wouldn't be a bad thing. All right, so that's all that I've got. Anyone got anything else before we get on out of here?
Well, why don't we, since we just talked about cult leaders, why don't we try to end this on a more positive note?
Are you telling me that cult leaders aren't positive?
Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask.
But, yeah, no, everyone, we don't know if we're doing a, podcast for New Year's. I actually wouldn't mind doing a game night for New Year's as like a live podcast type of thing.
If you do Jackbox, I would so be in for that.
That's what I would plan on doing, because we could do Jackbox through here and I could share them on my screen. It's super easy to do. But there's a new Thunderbolts trailer. That'll be on the next podcast. Well, I have to sit down and watch that. But if we don't, that'll be something as a maybe. If we don't, everyone have a Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. And if you don't, happy Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you do.
Well, Christmas and Hanukkah are on the same, starting the same day this year. So
yeah. Just have fun with your families if you have the time off. Be good with each other, all that. Just have a good end of the year. And then if we do plan a New Year's podcast, hopefully we could see you at it. And likely, like I said, would likely be a game night of more than a thing. We might have like a couple topics and then transition into a game night. That would be pretty fun, in my opinion. But yeah, let's get the heck on out of here. Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on various social media sites at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Blue Sky at Ren Pop Culture. Listen, we're on YouTube, Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely. Bree?
Well, when I'm not in the middle of writing screenplays, you can find me at crazylemur.bsky.social. Lemur's Rule 1, I think, on Instagram. I don't know, my brain's in like 2 different places. And you could just follow all of my misadventures and me just being catty and gay. So if you're into that shit, go right ahead. I don't care.
Kiana?
You can find me on Twitch and Blue Sky at Neoplasmic, and on Twitter, Neoplasmic24, and Instagram and Threads at Neoplasmic81.
Nice. You can find me everywhere at DarkAndArk0, mainly on Twitch and YouTube. If you are a fellow cosplayer, and con attendee, you can follow me on Instagram. Yeah, other than that, I really don't got anything. Everybody, if we do not see you, have a good rest of your year. If we see you for the next podcast, hopefully you'll be there for the game night. We will see you all later. Bye.
Peace.